I am. And we sit here until that turns to 11 o'clock and the lights will come on. Because we don't violate the.
Are the lights as bright up here as they are out there?
Oh, no, they're worse.
They're
Well,
worse?
don't downplay it.
Okay.
I said, don't downplay
Seem to
it.
illuminate. There we
There
are.
we see.
Oh,
Oh my,
yeah, it's,
we are
okay.
live and in living color.
Good morning. I would like to call to order the March 10th meeting of the McGee Creek Authority. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the September 16th meeting. It's in your packet. Do the trustees have any comments regarding the minutes? If not, is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. The motion carries. Item 3 is the consent docket. There are 6 items on for approval. Generally, a lot of annual contracts on there. Do the trustees have any of the 6 items that they would like to pull out and discuss individually?
No, thank you.
All right. Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the consent docket?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion, all opposed, the same sign. The motion carries. Item 4 is items for individual consideration. Item A is the audit for fiscal year, or ending, for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021. And of course, I always like to see those words, clean audit. Do we have any questions, or is there a presentation on the audit?
We can
Just here to answer any questions.
have Jiffy John answer any questions you may have.
All right. Do the trustees have any questions on the audit?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to approve the audit?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The motion passes. Item B is a resolution ratifying the actions of the general manager in issuing a 4% pay plan adjustment for full-time McGee Creek Authority employees retroactive to July 1 of 2021 and revising the recognized holidays to be consistent with the city of Oklahoma City. Trustees have any questions regarding this issue?
No, sir.
Is there a motion for approval?
So approved. So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same sign. The motion carries. Item C is a presentation on the McGee Creek Authority fiscal year 2023 budget, and Vanessa Aguilar is here to talk to us.
Yes, good morning, Chairman and Trustees. Vanessa Aguilar. The agenda item that we have before you today is the fiscal year 23 proposed McGee Creek budget. We have a few slides to go through with you just to give you a little bit more detail of attachment A of the resolution. First, I'll go through the sources for McGee Creek budget. This is $4,867,000. Primarily, the first line includes service charges revenue from raw water sales. This is the rural water district number 4 in Atoka. That's projected to be about $536,000. This does include a projected rate adjustment that we are working with our cost of service consultant in finalizing, and in the fall meeting, we'll bring to you those final recommendations. Interest earnings of about $436,000. Some of that includes interest earnings from our bond account and then also from our operating account. Bureau of Reclamation reimbursement is projected to be about $54,000. The BOR provides up to 8.55% reimbursement of O&M cost and capital outlay related to the dam and reservoir. Aliquot share payments. This represents Aquit's payment of $2.56 million. This is approximately 66.67% of Aliquot's share component for McGee Creek. And then the remainder comes through a loan from Aquit, which is provided for in the agreement of support between Aquit and McGee Creek. That's about $1.28 million. So now we'll go into a little bit more detail of the uses. The uses, as you can see, is balanced between the sources as well, $4,867,000. The first category is personnel services. This goes to fund the salaries and benefits for McGee Creek employees. As the previous agenda item noted, it also aligns with the pay plan adjustment. This includes 4% adjustment to the pay plan in addition to the additional holiday that was proposed in the previous item. That's $400,000 proposed for FY23. Contracts and services is just about $1 million. The biggest change from current fiscal year budget to next year's proposed is an additional budget proposed for outside legal services. That's about $170,000. Equipment and supplies, that budget is about $80,000. It's about constant from the FY22 budget. And then debt service. So I would like to point out for fiscal year 23, the debt service component is 0. We are paying off the McGee Creek bonds on January 2nd of 2023. That item is 0 because that cash is already at the bank, set aside in using the debt service reserve fund that's been there since the beginning of the bonds, as well as investments that will be maturing through December of 2022. Capital outlay, which we'll go into a little bit more detail on the next slide, that's projected to be just over $3 million. And so also a new item that we have on here is a proposed operating and CIP reserve of $300,000. So we've added this component to provide some additional budgeted reserve to plan for unforeseen expenses, whether it's in the operating side for electricity or any operating expenses that may be unforeseen. We have that budgeted, as well as CIP. If we have an emergency capital repair that needs to happen, we're proposing that we already have that reserve built in. And so with that, I'd like to introduce Mark Long, who will go through our capital slide.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and trustees. In 2018, under the direction of the general manager, we did a facility assessment report looking at all the capital improvements. At that time, there was $8 million of critical improvements that needed to be identified and addressed within the 3 to 10 year period. I'm happy to announce that today, since 2019, over $3 million of that $8 million has been addressed from the facility assessment. So we've been making good progress. The capital outlays for this budget year are the BOR projects. We're down to 2 minor projects, and I'll talk about those in more detail in the project status update of $150,000. The pump station pipeline facility improvement fund is $1.5 million. Primarily, that will all be most of that will be going to the headquarter building and the residence that will be planned to be bid later this year. We have some additional headquarter road and parking monies that we anticipate that once we get all of the building done at the headquarter area, we will have damaged some of the roadway and parking lots, and so that money is now set aside in this budget. Then we have equipment replacement, which is a routine operating equipment replacement budget of $167,000. And then we have the facility road improvements. This is phase 1 of 3, and I'll talk about that in the status update of $760,000. So, thank you.
And so that concludes our presentation, and we'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
I do want to point out that it's a significant difference in the budget this year with the paying off of the original debt for the construction of the facility, and then of course more capital dollars than we've put into the facility in the past. So quite a bit down from debt service and back up a little bit from capital, but I think it's exciting projects, and it's exciting
Absolutely.
to see the debt paid off, and it's a significant change in the budget. Any questions or comments regarding the budget? Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second to approve the budget. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign, and the budget is approved. Item D is the fiscal year loan agreement with the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust. This is an annual an item that we do annually. Are there any questions or comments regarding the loan agreement?
No, sir.
Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
We have a
Second.
motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign, and the motion carries. Item E is a resolution of the McGee Creek Authority appropriating McGee Creek Authority funds as it becomes available for the fiscal year 2023 equipment replacement, authorizing general manager to designate the general manager or designate to purchase such equipment items from state and other intergovernmental cooperating purchasing contracts, bid and award in a manner consistent with the practices of the trust and/or state law, and directing the general manager or designee to prepare bid specifications or requests for proposals for remaining equipment, formally advertise and present derived proposed contracts to the trust for consideration for award, and authorizing the general manager or designee to declare fiscal year 2023 surplus items that are sold for more than $25,000 as surplus to the needs of the McGee Creek Authority. Estimated cost $167,000. So that's actually, with the budget we approved, this is a process to do some of the capital purchasing associated therewith.
Very good.
Are there questions regarding the resolution?
No, sir.
Is there a motion for approval?
So approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same sign. The motion carries. Item F is a resolution directing the general manager to request participants to make an election regarding annual allocate costs for fiscal year 2023 in accordance with the McGee Creek amended trust indenture. Again, this is an annual item that comes before the trust regarding the annual cost for the participants. Are there questions regarding item F?
No.
Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for item F. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Item G is a resolution ratifying the actions of the general manager in approving the plans and specifications to be advertised for bid, ratifying and approving addendum number 1, and approving revised plans and specifications to be advertised for bids, project WMC-035 revised, roadway improvements, McGee Creek Reservoir Dam Road and Pump Station Road. Mr. General Manager, is there anything we need to know about this project?
There is, Mr. Chairman. Mark, would you like to come up and talk about this one? I believe we bid this one and we need to do it again.
Okay.
Yes, certainly. So the road projects are in phases. We made a bid package together and went out to bid. We received no bids on the first attempt. We identified that some of this was due to the fact that there were asphalt providers that were not in bid sync and were not pre-qualified in the Oklahoma City system. We also then identified that there were bidders that had just recently obtained ODOT contracts in the area, so they're going to now have 2 asphalt plants much more closer. So we are revising this and putting it back out to bid. We are taking advantage of that and going to plan on bidding another project very quickly after that, so that way we can have both phases taking advantage of the fact that there will be an asphalt supply much closer to the McGee Creek area.
Mark, these are roads identified by BOR that need to be addressed, is that correct?
That's correct, and I'll show a slide at the project status, but there are 6 road facilities that McGee Creek Authority is responsible. There are other roads that the BOR and/or the Corps of Engineers maintain. There are some roads that the county maintains.
Very good. Any questions regarding the resolution?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve item G. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. The motion carries.
Thank you.
Item H is ratify and approve the actions of the general manager in approving the letter of engagement with Phyllis Murrah for legal services related to the case of Meridian Contracting versus the McGee Creek Authority, Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust, in the city of Oklahoma City, in Oklahoma County District Court Case CJ 2021-5351. Mr. General Manager, you want to give us a summary of this?
Yes, sir. We had a number of projects completed by Meridian at the McGee Creek Authority facilities. They believe that they are entitled to additional compensation. We believe otherwise, so we're going to address this in court. We have hired the firm to represent Oklahoma City, and we recommend hiring the same firm to represent the McGee Creek Authority.
All right. Questions or comments regarding this?
No.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve item H. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. The motion passes. Item 5 are items from trustees. Do we have any items from the trustees this morning?
Just like to say this is my first meeting, and I look forward to working with you, Mr. Couch and Mayor Kathy, and glad to be here.
Pleasure to meet you and welcome aboard.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Stonecipher, for those who don't know, he's been a longtime member of the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust and has a unique interest in water and the utility system, and has Lake Hefner within parts of Ward 8. So there we go. General Manager reports.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before we get started, Councilman Stonecipher, thank you so much for agreeing to serve. I know you're very busy. We are happy to have you aboard, so thank you very much.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. A couple of things. We have the operation and lake level pumpage reports. Byron Trent will give us that update.
Morning. On the McGee Creek Reservoir lake level and pumpage report, we'll be covering the columns from left to right on the bottom. Our current rainfall total is 3789, and our normal rainfall for the year is 44.7. We are currently 6.81 below our normal rainfall for this 12-month range. MCA had an average lake level of elevation 572.75 for the month of January. At this elevation, the lake volume was at 85,375 acre feet, and the capacity was 85.81% full. Traditionally, we have not pumped to the city of Atoka in a while, but due to current construction projects they have, over the last 4 months, we've delivered 213.6 acre feet to the city of Atoka. The total electrical cost for this 12-month range was $181,413. This concludes the lake level and pumpage report for MCA. Is there any questions at this time?
Any questions?
No, sir.
All right.
I think at this point I'll turn it over to Ron Butler for the operations report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good to see everyone today. It's been a while. Anyway, Ron Butler, Superintendent of Operations in McGee Creek. I just want to report to you that excuse me, I'm glad to report that since our last meeting, which is over 6 months ago, we've not had any large breakdowns or anything major happen to cost an extreme amount of money. And so far, repairs and maintenance have been routine as expected. And I want to take a moment and say we're glad to be in that new storage building that was just built. And we've had some painting projects in the pump station, and we've had some SCADA upgrades. I'm sorry, I have a dry throat. SCADA improvements that I want to mention just over. We now have some live readings from water meters, and we can watch those kinds of things. That's all I have unless there's questions.
Thank you, Mr. Butler. Any questions for Mr. Butler?
No, sir.
So I would like to say that we get an annual review from the Bureau of Reclamation on our facilities, and they give a very comprehensive report, and this year's report indicated that there are no significant improvements necessary for the facility. So great job, Ron. We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next item is a project update presentation. Mark Long will give you all an update on what we're doing down there to make things better.
Thank you very much, Mr. Manager, Chairman, and trustees. This is a status report of all the capital improvement programs. A few of them we've already discussed some in the next slide. And as Ron mentioned, here's the final photo of the equipment building that they've moved in. You can see on the right are the bays for the interior storage. And then there's, on the left-hand side of the photo, there's a large area for them to store and work on equipment and be able to stage equipment. This was a great improvement, taking it from out in 3 different building locations, as well as just shelters that were covering up the equipment. So they're very proud of this building here on the site. Next slide. Now on the roadway improvement side, as we mentioned in the other item, MCA is responsible for 6 sections of roadway. The BOR and others are responsible for the other. This is a list of those 6. And on the next slide, we'll show a photograph. And you have the dike road, the spillway, the dam road, the pump station road, and then you have South Ferris Road, which is the main road going into the headquarter area, and a crossover road. Just to orientate you, the first 2 phases of the projects that we're going to be doing are going to be addressing the 4 dike road, spillway, dam, and pump station. Pump station is the worst condition road. And then we're going to defer and wait on the Ferris Road and Crossover Road until we have the other construction projects done. Next slide. Moving on to the headquarter building, about 2 years ago, we did an investigation. There was actually money in the budget to try to do some foundation repairs. Foundation repairs have been going on off and on for the last 10 years on the building. These are actual 1980 construction photos, and you can see there were problems with this building as a result of boulders, or what geotechnical engineers call cobbles. They're too large and they're non-uniform, and it was just causing, no matter how much improvements we made to the interior, we had cracking to the walls and the floor, and the paint and the carpet damage. So on the next slide, this is a very preliminary rendering of the new headquarter building, and as you can see on the lower right, we also, through the programming phase, based on the staffing that Mr. Trent and Mr. Butler are going to have, there will be a shop so they can do some of the maintenance to the equipment, as opposed to driving up to Oklahoma City or transferring vehicles back and forth. WMCO 36, as was mentioned, this is one of 2 of the final BOR projects that were identified that have need to be done. This will be bid in May. We're actually taking care of an electrical conduit that has been leaking for years, going down the slope of the dam, and then we're addressing some minor leak and drainage issues up around the building on top of the dam. WMCO 38 is the BOR inspection findings. For many, many years, they've been concerned with the bonnets and the gates. We did a project to get most of the gates addressed 2 years ago, but we do have some of the bonnets, the bolts, and hardware that need to be addressed. This should take care of, as Ron mentioned, all of the BOR items that have been lingering on for several years. And that concludes the status update. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right.
Oh, nope, one more, sorry. Larry, do you have something you want to present? Okay. All right, then we're done, Mr. Chairman.
All right, do we have a motion to receive the general manager reports?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. The motion carries. Citizens to be heard. Is there any citizens to be heard this morning? Seeing none, and there's no further business before the McGee Creek Authority, we are adjourned.
Well, good morning. We will call this meeting of the Lake Atoka Reservation Association to order from March 10th, 2022. This time, move down approval of the minutes of September 16th of 2021 for the Lake Atoka Reservation Association meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
The motion is second. All those in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 3, items for individual consideration. A, resolution recommending the Oklahoma City Water Utility Trust receive and approve the Lake Atoka Reservation Association fiscal year 2023 budget of $410,581. Do I hear a motion for approval? Motion to approve. Second. Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item B, receive financial statement and report of independent auditors for fiscal year end of June 30th, 2021. Does anyone have any questions on that? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve?
Second?
Motion is second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item C, cooperative agreement with Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry, AC-22-0001-OK, for the trapping of feral hogs in and around the Lake Atoka Reservation Association, retroactive from March 1st, 2022 through February 28th, 2023, cost not to exceed $2,600. Is there any questions on this item? Hearing none. Excuse me.
I do have,
Yes, sir.
do have a question. So, I mean, I know the feral hog problem is an issue. Is it really causing quite a bit of damage out the lake? It's,
We're having more today than in the past. so they must be ranging through there. So we found it necessary to start trapping them.
I think they procreate quite well.
They do. What we have seen in southeastern Oklahoma, in Atoka County and Pushmataha County as a whole, the entire area, not just the lake areas, but the entire county, the population of the feral hogs are just running out of control. And forestry department, ag department, and they've done a lot of programs for the area, but it is a tremendous problem for the farmers and ranchers, and for erosion into the lake, I think is one of the key drivers for trying to mitigate the problem.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve? Have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Is there any items from board members?
Yes, sir.
Okay, hearing none, we'll move down. Items from the city of Atoka, Lake Patrol and Activity Report as provided by Police Chief of the city of Atoka, Chief Dotson.
I have nothing to add or take away from the report unless you have questions.
Any of the board members have any questions for Chief Dotson? Okay, hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve this report?
Second?
A motion is second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 6, General Manager's Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have a lake level and pumpage report. Byron is going to give us the update. You can just do it from right there, it's fine. Yeah.
On this lake level and pumpage report, it'll be similar to the MCA's.
Hey, Byron, can you put your mic on?
There you go.
Or just hold it and press the mic button.
No.
Nope.
I'm assuming this one's for this one, this one's for that one. Hello?
You holding it? Keep it down.
Can you hear me now?
I think we can now.
Hello?
Yep, there we go.
Very good. On this pumpage report, this is similar to MCA. We'll be covering the columns from left to right. The normal rainfall total is 46.8, and we're, 6.84 below normal for rainfall for this 12-month range. For this report, a total of 11,488.95 acre feet was received from MCA during this 12-month range. Lake Atoka had an average elevation of 586.5 for the month of January. At this elevation, the lake volume was 91,698 acre feet, and the capacity was at 83.5% full. Pumpage from February 2021 to January 2021 totaled 59,135 acre feet. That concludes the lake level pumpage report. Is there any questions at this time?
I have a couple of things to add. Thank you, Byron. We've had our pump stations under construction periodically throughout the year. So we've had the pipeline shut down. There's been no pumpage to Lake Stanley Draper. Turned it on for a bit. Now it's back off again to do some final work. Should be back up and running on April 1st. So that will adjust the lake levels accordingly. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of rain between now and then. It's been kind of dry, as you can tell with the pumpage report. It's been about 6 inches below normal. You guys haven't been paying the right people, Mr. Mayor. We'd appreciate it if you'd get that squared away. But hopefully we'll get them filled up here soon. So with that, that's the end of our reports. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. This time, do I hear a motion to receive the reports? Motion is second. Excuse me. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Reports are approved.
So we do, Mr. Chairman, we do have one presentation. That was the end of the lake level
Oh, I'm
reports. We do have a
Thank you for
presentation.
stopping me on that.
That's
My
okay.
bad.
We have a presentation
You should move faster.
from Mr. Hare talking about our projects that are of major interest to many of us. We do have some good news as well.
Yeah, they're
so-
just little bitty jobs, that's all they are.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody.
My meter may run out here in just a minute, that's why I'm trying to rush things
I
along. No,
I got you.
kidding.
We won't have your car towed yet.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. Just,
Okay, so with the construction of the dam, you know, the Atoka Road got beat up pretty well. Of course, it wasn't in really good shape to begin with before the construction. So we have hired Poe and Associates to completely analyze what's going on with the road, why it has all the failures going on. And we're looking at about 4 miles of road to be rehabilitated from the south going toward the dam and from the north going toward the dam from Highway 69. According to our schedule, we're going to advertise for bid on this one in about August or September of this year. And just taking a closer look at the limits of this road, what you see in yellow are the roads on the Lake Reservation property itself. The one in purple is not, however, we're going to include that in the project. Same for the north side. The road in red is on the Lake Reservation property, while the orange road is not. But we're going to include that as well into the project. Looking at the status of the pipeline projects, the one we currently have under construction is the bore underneath the river. That's going, it's going. What you see here is what the boring machine looks like in a shiny, brand-new condition before it goes into the ground. In late February, for the 72-inch drive, we broke ground, and this is what it looks like after the bore. And this is what it looks like after putting in an extra piece of casing pipe in order to get it out of the ground table. They're currently working on the 60-inch side as well, and unfortunately they're getting into really gummy material, so the production of the bore is very slow.
So let's point out that the pipe you're seeing here is the casing.
That's correct.
The water main will be steel.
okay.
Right.
What's your time of completion, Mr. Hare?
Well, unfortunately, we're looking later toward this, into this year, maybe around September. The contractor's claiming change conditions of the ground, and we don't see how that can be possible because we have geotech showing exactly what it is they're going through, so we'll see what they do. Of course, hopefully it'll be better production as they actually go underneath the river and going into the harder material.
Yeah.
And we have better conditions on the other side of the river.
So this is only the first half. There's a shaft and they go both directions. So this is only one direction. They're turning around going the other direction with the 72. They're also doing the 60. And they have not completed the first side of the 60 yet. They're still working on that. So they have quite a bit of work left to do.
That's correct.
And it looks like the boring machine's in need of a paint job.
Yeah. Yeah. As you know, we've been working for quite a while to obtain a permit from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Department to get an incidental take permit for the American burying beetle, as you see pictured here. I have great news to say that we obtained our permit. It was issued in November of last year, and now that means that we can start advertising for pipeline projects for the second Atoka pipeline. So the first one that we had on the chopping block was the one adjacent to the river crossing, going from the Ada pump station to the river crossing. Taking a closer look at it, here's the Ada pump station, and here is where the boring contract is right now. It's approximately 8.8 miles in length. Some key features, we have 2 highway crossings. This one down here, crossing Highway 1, is going to be bored. This one over here on Highway 377 We already have casing pipe in place, so all we have to do is shove the new pipe in without having to bore underneath it. We also have one railroad crossing to deal with that we're going to bore underneath as well. We opened bid yesterday. McGee Utilities appears to be the low bidder at just over $37 million. The price you see here is just shy of what the engineer's estimate was, about $480,000. And that's only for construction. That doesn't count the purchase of the pipe, yeah. The next one that we have coming up is WC 0871, which is going from Pump Station O near Atoka to the Colgate Pump Station. Here it is in all of its glory in red. Unfortunately, you can't really see that very well. It's about 14 miles long. We also have two highway crossings for this at State Highway 75 and State Highway 31. And we also have a river crossing here at the Muddy Boggy. We anticipate to open bid in May of this year and award this construction contract in June of this year for an estimated construction cost of about $67 million.
Wow.
With that, I can take any questions. Yes, sir.
Larry, is that river crossing going to be an open cut or a bore?
I'm sorry, say that again?
The river crossing at Muddy Boggy, open cut or bore?
It is a bore,
Okay.
similar to what we're doing, but not to the scale of the Canadian River crossing.
How many bidders did you have on the Atoka section that opened yesterday?
We had 3 bidders.
Who were they?
They were McGee Utilities, Oscarenda, and
Garney.
Garney. And there was quite a spread between each one of them, by about 20 million apiece.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a large gap between bids.
Thank you, Larry.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
Well, we've already approved it, so I guess we can move along.
Now we're done.
Now we're done. Okay, great. Excellent. Okay, as we move on down the agenda, since apologies for jumping the gun.
No
This is for
apologies necessary.
citizens to be heard. Is there any citizens that would like to be heard today? Hearing none, I call this meeting adjourned. Thank you all.
Nice job, Mayor.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're excited about starting with this first piece.